whatnot. And that's where we're at here with this tournament. Let's talk about Dragon Ball Super episode 114. 113 focused quite a bit on Caulifla and Kale. And I know a lot of folks did not like the episode because, well, they don't care about Caulifla and Kale. I feel like if it was Vegeta versus Topo, I think people would have been a lot more hyped to see it, which is fine. I mean, I understand that. I thought it was fine, though. I'm okay with them, like I said in my review. I'm cool with them focusing on just one story if they want. But if you already don't like Caulifla and Kale, you might not even care. But unfortunately, if you don't like Caulifla and Kale, well, I hate to break it to you, but the next few weeks of Super may be all about Caulifla and Kale, or at least the next 2 weeks. Let's talk about Dragon Ball Super episode 114. We're going to preview the episode, break down, scene by scene what's going to happen, and discuss what is being teased, featuring the big headliner, the big story is that there will indeed be a Potara fusion in the Tournament of Power between Caulifla and Kale. We're going to discuss that and so much more here. Let's get to it. Alright, opening shot here, Goku, who again is still recovering from his fight with Jiren against Kale. Looks like Kale's going at him by himself. By herself, excuse me. That was not a Freudian slip, by herself. And I wonder how many shots from the Broly movie are going to be copied here, right? Because, boy, is the Broly influence there. We're going to get to that here in a minute. There we have Kale using her Berserk power, just, pushing Goku, just rushing him. Amazing Kale. We have the green balls that she does. And then Goku says she controls that fierce power and becomes a true legendary Super Saiyan. Now, we got to talk about this, okay? We got to talk about it. Goku says in Japanese, Densetsu no Super Saiyajin. Now, we have to... I'm going to break down what actually is going on here. It's not made clear, okay? It is not clear. And I know people are going to jump all over this. Already they probably have. I'm recording this the night before the video goes up. So I'm recording this late Saturday night. You'll have it Sunday afternoon in this side of the world, but I know people are going to jump all over this saying that, oh, well, this confirms that Kale has achieved the legendary Super Saiyan form, the one that Broly had in the 3 movies that Broly was in. And that may or may not be the case. That's not necessarily what he's saying here because, first of all, legendary Super Saiyan is not capitalized, which, again, it's a subtitle. That might not mean anything, but you have to understand that even when Goku first went Super Saiyan against Frieza, in Japanese, they still called it Densetsu no Super Saiyajin. In fact, Vegeta also calls himself Densetsu no Super Saiyajin. So, the word legendary Super Saiyan does not necessarily mean that it is the Broly form. However, with Kale being the one that does it, obviously this is, again, a tribute to Broly. Now, I know we're going to have people, I can already kind of tell, that are going to be asking, does this make Broly canon? Because I don't know why people care that much about canon, but not necessarily. Just because they borrow something from the movies does not necessarily mean the movies fit with the continuity, okay? So, if Kale does do Broly's form, which I don't think she's going to do. I'm going to talk about what I think she's going to do in a minute. If she does do Broly's form, then I think that it's, again, just more of that Broly tribute that they're doing with Kale. Also, I want to put focus on this. Goku says she controls that fierce power and becomes a true legendary Super Saiyan. If I remember correctly, when Broly went into that form in the movies, he still was berserking out. He was still raging out. He wasn't as berserk and mindless, I guess you could say, as Kale was a few episodes ago in Dragon Ball Super episode 100, but it was still like semi-control. Like Broly was still kind of out of his mind. Paragus had to control him. So again, I think what this is that Kale's going to go berserk and then figure out how to control that berserk power but still keep the power. Which I thought she had already done, but I guess not. Caulifla's there falling off some rocks. And again, Goku. And here we have, of course, the stomach blast because Kale can fire ki blast from her stomach somehow. Maybe she's pregnant. Who knows? Who's the daddy? And depends on her orientation. But anyways, looks like Goku here figures out a way to bounce that ki blast back. And she's semi-buff here, so it's interesting. And there's, Caulifla. Now, here, take a look at her here. She's buff, but she's not, like, super ripped Broly buff. So, this could be, and again, I'm not sure. We'll wait till next week. Could, again, be the mastered Berserk form. Maybe she figures out how to control Berserk. That's what we're getting here. You know, because we do know that's going to be Kale and Caulifla against Goku. But of course, the question is, if Caulifla can master the form, why is her hair green and everybody else is gold? You see what I'm saying? Because even Broly had a golden haired form, if you remember. And specifically, they showed it really well in movie 10, but you see it in movie 8 too. So again, you know, her hair appears to be just green no matter what. So Goku says, plus she and Caulifla will bring out the ultimate secret weapon. Now, we got to talk about this one. You know, that's a good shot of them. Goku's ready. They're going to hold hands. This is a stupendous enemy. They power up right here. Notice the blue lightning. Again, could it be that Kale learns SS2? I think Berserk is beyond SS2. That's my opinion. Because the way she performed against Goku back in episode 100 or 101, I think it was 100, I think that's beyond 2, but blue lightning seems to be a thing they like to animate, right? There, I love that shot of Goku there, the very Superman-esque, right? I thought for a minute it was 3 because of how high the hair is, but he has eyebrows, so it's 2 or 1. And then there they go. And I'm getting excited. Next on Dragon Ball Super, we're gonna get to this in a minute here. Intimidating passion, the birth of a new Super Warrior. In the spoilers that I had covered earlier this week, I've talked about how any time in the history of Dragon Ball when you hear them say the birth of a new warrior, it's always been in regards to either a fusion or an absorption. I obviously made the video where I thought that the fusion was going to be the 3 robots from Universe 3. Those of you who saw that video know what I'm talking about. And I was wrong. However, I don't think I'm entirely wrong. I think that they are going to end up fusing those 3 robots from Universe 3. I think they are going to fuse or, you know, merge, whatever, soon. I think they are going to do it. But clearly this is what they were talking about. And I love here, you know, the green background, which really matches up with Kale's green aura. You know, and again, the interesting thing is here's Goku wiping the sweat. And when we look here, we have the Potara. Now, that is a big revelation because we were all thinking, you know, a lot of us had discussions about this, including myself, that they're going to be using the Metamoran fusion, that maybe Universe 6 has Metamorans and that Champa was going to teach, you know, Caulifla and Kale the Metamoran fusion off screen. That's what I said in my spoiler video. Or maybe they learned it from Goku, some people thought, or they learned it from Champa on screen. No, it's going to be pure Potara fusion, which we now know has a time limit if you're immortal. Now, of course, the question is, and I know what the question is, how in the hell is that going to be allowed if, you know, artifacts or weapons are not allowed? Well, that, of course, comes down to 2 factors. Number 1, do you consider the Potara a weapon? You're not using the Potara to attack someone. You're not hurting them with the Potara, so maybe the Grand Priest and Zeno don't consider it a weapon. Or what seems to be more realistic is that it is considered an artifact, an illegal object, so to speak, like they say in the wrestling world. But Zeno, because he thinks it's cool, is going to allow it. Remember, he allowed Roshi to use the Mafuba jar, and he also allowed Krillin to use a smelly shoe. Remember that episode? So I do think that, again, we talked about this in the past. I think that the Omni King is going to be more lax with the rules. But will that lead to killing? I think that's the real question. Is he going to eventually say, you know what, you can kill your opponent? And that'll be the final, like, 5 minutes of the tournament, or, you know, something like that, like, which will be like 10 episodes, right? I'm curious, but nonetheless, this is a Potara fusion. It looks like the Supreme Kais from Universe 6 are probably going to give Kale and Caulifla Potaras, and there it is, Kefla. That is Kefla. And quick observation here, someone sent this over to me on my Facebook page. If you look in the Dragon Ball Super intro, this does look more like Kefla than it does Caulifla or Kale, right? I thought it was Kale, but that is indeed Kefla. Why is she with Universe 11? Is she going to eventually defect? I don't think so. But it's interesting because they're using fusion, but yet here's the question, you know, and of course that goes to here. Here's the question is, if Champa wants to win by numbers, if you fuse, is Zeno going to count it as 2 people, or is he going to count it as 1 person? That's a question that unfortunately cannot be answered yet. We'll see if the fusion even lasts until the end of the tournament because, as you know, when you use a lot of power in this fusion, it shortens the time. But it looks like we are going to see a fused Kefla fighting Goku at the very least. Maybe, I mean, we know that fight's going to happen. We don't know who else Kefla's going to fight, but how strong will, you know, Kefla be? You know, we've got Kale, who's strong. We've got Caulifla, who's kind of OP for her experience level. Go back here. You know, so again, you know, what is it going to be enough to beat Goku? Remember, Goku's tired. He doesn't know how he got Ultra Instinct. He may not get it again right away. He can't even do SS3. We don't know if he can do God or Blue yet. Probably not, presumably, because we know Blue does drain stamina too. So it's going to be interesting if someone's going to come help Goku. If maybe Caulifla is going to end up fighting Frieza, Vegeta, Gohan. And of course, the one thing that's in my head is all the fan theories that Goku and Gohan may fuse. If they're going to allow fusion in the tournament, which again, we thought we were going to get it a while back, if they're going to allow it, then that means that everyone should be allowed to do it, which means we may see more fusions, and that could change everything. But let's not jump the gun on that just yet. All right, let's not go down that road. But we do know now with absolute certainty that Caulifla and Kale are going to Potara fuse. And like I said, presumably they're going to be handed the Potaras by the Supreme Kai of Universe 6, or maybe they already have them in their pocket or something. I think it's going to be the Supreme Kais, which again, to me, that sounds like outside interference. But again, Zeno can change the rules whenever he wants. What's the point of having rules if Zeno can change them anyways? So we'll see where this goes. Anyways, again, what's pretty cool is that it has been a year, almost a year to the day, almost, that we saw Vegito and that we saw Merz Zamasu. I think Merz Zamasu was first, yeah. So it's interesting that we saw that a year ago, and now here we go again with another fusion. First female fusion ever in Dragon Ball, not including the Fusions video game because that's a different story, but in the actual series and even in Heroes, I don't think we ever saw a female fusion. First time ever here. Of course, Elder Kai fuses the Witch, but I mean, this is the first time it's been two girls. So it'll be interesting where that goes. But hey, if you like fusion, Dragon Ball Super is going to give you something, but clearly the focus is going to be on these characters, and I think there's going to be more to them later on. Anyways, thank you as always for checking out this video, this preview for episode 113 of Super. We will all be watching it next week to see where this actually goes, and I don't think, my prediction is I don't think Caulifla is going to fight Goku. She is. Hear me out. Not in this episode. The